Welcome, listeners, to the shadowy corridors of history and mystery, where the past lingers much longer than its welcome. You're about to step through the rusted gates of one of the most chilling chapters in American lore. This is not just a tale of stone and iron, but of spirits and shadows, of echoes that refuse to fade. Welcome to Echoes of the Unseen, the spirits of Eastern State Penitentiary. Nestled in the heart of Philadelphia, this fortress of despair once housed the condemned, the forgotten, and the unredeemed. Its Gothic towers and crumbling cell blocks stand as silent witnesses to a bygone era of punishment and isolation. But not all is quiet within these ancient walls. Whispers in the dark, footsteps in empty halls, the sudden chill of an unseen presence, these are the signs that the residents of Eastern State may have left their cells, but they have never truly left. As we delve into the heart of these haunted halls, we'll uncover stories that unsettle the soul and challenge the boundaries of belief. From the warden who watches still, to the inmates who roam their eternal prison, their stories are imprinted on the very air we breathe. So, dim the lights, draw closer, and prepare to journey into a world where the past is not past, and the dead are not quiet. The gates are opening, the shadows lengthen, and the story begins. Welcome to Echoes of the Unseen, the spirits of Eastern State Penitentiary. Let's step into the darkness together. In the heart of Philadelphia, amidst the bustle of modern life, lies a relic of a bygone era, a monument to solitude and sorrow. This is Eastern State Penitentiary, a place where the echoes of the past are not merely memories, but presence is felt in every stone and shadow. Today, we begin our journey into its chilling embrace, into a story that weaves together the fabric of history, horror, and the unexplained. Welcome to Chapter 1, The Haunting Grounds. Constructed in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary was designed not just as a prison, but as a grand experiment in reform. Its architect, John Haviland, drew inspiration from the castles of the Old World, creating a facility that was imposing, stark, and unforgiving. With its towering Gothic spires and radial cell blocks, it stood as a fortress of isolation, designed to impose penitence through solitude. The concept was revolutionary. Each inmate was to be kept in solitary confinement, with only a Bible for company. The belief was that, cut off from the corrupting influences of the world, and left alone with their thoughts, prisoners would find repentance. But the reality was far darker. The silence and isolation drove many to the brink of madness. Their only respite, a brief moments when sunlight would find its way into their cells, a phenomenon that inmates came to call the eye of God. As decades passed, the prison grew overcrowded, and the solitary system was abandoned. But the shadows of those early years never faded. If these walls could talk, they would tell tales of anguish and despair, of minds broken by the silence. And perhaps they do speak, for Eastern State Penitentiary is said to be one of the most haunted places in America. Visitors and staff report chilling encounters, sounds of reaping echoing through empty corridors, the clanking of chains where no chains remain, shadows moving in the absence of light. These experiences hint at a deeper truth, that the penitentiary is a place where the barrier between the past and the present, the living and the dead, is perilously thin. The architecture of Eastern State Penitentiary itself contributes to its haunting atmosphere. The long, radial corridors stretch out like spokes on a wheel, creating a disorienting maze where sounds seem to come from everywhere and nowhere. The walls, once bright with the promise of redemption, are now peeling and decayed, their grim facade a testament to the suffering they have witnessed. In this chapter of our tale, we stand on the threshold of understanding, peering into the darkness that pervades Eastern State Penitentiary. This prison, this monument to solitude, holds within it stories of the human spirit, tested to its limits. It challenges us to listen, to explore, and to wonder what lingers in the shadows when the light of day fades. Join us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of Eastern State, where every stone tells a story, and every shadow may hide a ghost. This is but the beginning of our journey, a first step into the unknown. The gates are open, the past beckons, and the story unfolds. Welcome to the haunting grounds. As we delve deeper into the heart of darkness that is Eastern State Penitentiary, we find ourselves surrounded by the echoes of the unseen. Chapter 2, Spirits in the Shadows, takes us on a journey through the first-hand accounts of those who have come face to face with the penitentiary's ghostly inhabitants. In the silence of the abandoned corridors, the line between the past and the present blurs, and the air becomes thick with the weight of untold stories. Visitors speak of encounters so vivid, they chill the blood. Imagine walking through cellblock 4, the air still and heavy, when suddenly a figure appears, transparent, yet unmistakably human. It moves with purpose, only to vanish before your very eyes. These apparitions, often seen in the corners of vision, seem to be remnants of the past, unwilling or unable to move on. The tales are many and varied, but certain stories emerge time and again, whispered by those who have felt their presence. One such story is that of a locksmith, working to restore the ancient locks of cell doors. As he worked on a lock in cellblock 4, the very air around him grew inexplicably cold. A force unseen gripped him, paralyzing with fear, as the sounds of a distant, invisible riot filled the corridor. It was as if the very souls of the inmates rose in anger, protesting their eternal imprisonment. When the locksmith finally broke free from the unseen grasp, he swore never to return, convinced that the spirits of the prisoners were all too real. Then there are the sounds that permeate the thick walls and heavy doors, sounds that should not exist in a place long abandoned. Footsteps echo in empty halls, following those who dare to walk them, always just a step behind. Never seen, voices whisper in the darkness, conversations cut off by time, desperate to be heard once more. The clang of cell doors slamming shut reverberates through the air, though they remain unmoved. These auditory hauntings leave visitors questioning their senses, the reality of what they hear impossible to deny, that difficult to accept. Most chilling perhaps are the encounters in the solitary confinement cells of cellblock 14. Even in the light of day, darkness seems to linger here. Visitors report feeling a sense of overwhelming despair, of being watched by unseen eyes. It's in these cells that the apparition of a guard is often seen, his silhouette pacing back and forth, eternally vigilant. Some have felt the brush of his uniform against their skin as he passes by, a cold reminder of the living history that haunts these halls. In the chapel, the sense of peace that should pervade is often disrupted by an inexplicable chill, a sign, some say, of the congregation of spirits still seeking redemption. The organ, silent for decades, is sometimes heard playing a mournful tune, notes hanging in the air, a lament for souls long lost. These stories, these encounters with the spirits of Eastern State Penitentiary, challenge our understanding of the world we see. They invite us to listen closer, look deeper, and consider the possibility that we are never truly alone. As we move through the shadows, the question remains, what are these spirits seeking? Redemption, recognition, or perhaps something far more mysterious? Join us as we continue to explore the haunting legacy of Eastern State Penitentiary, where every shadow holds a story, and the echoes of the past are always listening. In the shadowy realm of Eastern State Penitentiary, where the line between the living and the dead is as thin as a wisp of mist, there exists a presence that commands both fear and respect. Chapter 3, The Warden's Watch, draws us into the heart of tales so chilling they have become etched into the very fabric of the prison's haunted legacy. This chapter unfolds the story of the ghost of the warden, a spectral figure said to still roam the prison, overseeing the empty cells and hallways with an unseen, yet palpable, authority. The warden, according to legend, was a man of stern disposition, his life intertwined with the fate of the penitentiary and its inmates. In life, he walked these halls with an iron will, his gaze piercing through the darkness. In death, it is said, he has not relinquished his vigil. His spirit, bound to the stone and iron, continues to patrol the corridors, a guardian of the past, a keeper of secrets too dark to be released. Witnesses speak of encounters with the warden that leave no doubt of his presence. Imagine, if you will, traversing the long, desolate stretch of cellblock 7 in the dim light of evening. The silence is profound, broken only by your own footsteps. Suddenly, a chill envelops you. The air shifts, and you sense you are not alone. Turning, you catch a glimpse of a figure at the far end of the corridor. Dressed in a garb of a bygone era, he stands watching, his gaze penetrating the shadows. You blink, and he is gone, leaving only the echo of his presence behind. The warden's apparition is not confined to the visual. Many report the distinct sound of footsteps, firm and deliberate, echoing through the halls when no one is there. These footsteps, they say, belong to the warden on his eternal rounds. Occasionally, the sound of keys jangling echoes in the silence, a reminder of his control over the prison, both in life and in death. His presence is often felt most strongly in the administration building, where he once presided over the fate of countless souls. Here, in the heart of the prison, staff and visitors alike report feeling watched, an inexplicable sensation of being evaluated by unseen eyes. Some have heard the low murmur of his voice, issuing orders to guards long since past, a ghostly command that still holds sway. But it is not just in these overt manifestations that the warden makes his presence known. There is a subtler, more pervasive sense of order that seems to emanate from the very walls of the prison, a testament to the warden's enduring influence. It is as if his spirit has infused itself into the fabric of the building, a constant reminder of the rigid discipline he once enforced. The tales of the warden's ghost are more than just stories. They are a bridge to the past, a connection to the complex tapestry of human emotion that has woven itself into Eastern State Penitentiary. His spirit, some believe, remains not out of a desire to instill fear, but as a guardian of the memories, the stories, the lives that have passed through these walls. As we continue to explore the depths of Eastern State's haunted history, we are reminded that some bonds, like those of the warden to his prison, are too strong to be broken by something as inconsequential as death. His watchful presence, whether seen or unseen, felt or merely sensed, serves as a poignant reminder that some duties extend beyond the confines of life itself. Join us as we delve further into the shadows, where the past is always present, and the echoes of history whisper in the dark. Within the oppressive walls of Eastern State Penitentiary, where the air is thick with the weight of unspoken histories, there resides a tale that chills the soul more deeply than a cold stone underfoot. Chapter 4. A lonely inmate delves into the story of a spirit whose presence is so potent, so filled with sorrow and unrest, that it leaves an indelible mark on all who encounter it. This is the tale of an inmate whose life behind bars was marked by tragedy, and whose spirit now manifests intense emotional energy and disturbances, refusing to be silenced by death. This inmate, known only by the number etched into the cold stone of his cell, was once a man of words, a writer whose only prime was speaking truths too inconvenient for the powers of his time. Sentenced to solitary confinement in the depths of Eastern State, he spent his days and nights in isolation, the silence of his cell broken only by the scratching of his pen against paper, writing words that no one would ever read. As the years passed, the isolation took its toll. The once vibrant spirit of the man began to fracture, his mind wandering the fine line between sanity and madness. And then, one fateful night, his voice was silenced forever, not by the hand of another, but by the crushing weight of solitude. He was found, lifeless, his final words scrawled across the walls of his cell, a testament to a soul pushed beyond the brink. But death was not the end for him. It was merely a transformation into something else, something bound to the very essence of Eastern State Penitentiary. His spirit, imbued with a profound sense of loss and injustice, roams the cell blocks, a manifestation of the prison's darkest aspects. Visitors speak of encountering a chill so deep it seems to emanate from within their very bones, a sudden drop in temperature marking his presence. Objects move of their own accord, books falling from shelves with no one near, pages fluttering as though caught in a breeze that does not exist. Lights flicker and dim as he passes, his unseen form leaving a trail of electrical disturbances in his wake. But it is the sound of his voice that haunts the corridors most deeply, a low, murmuring chant, repeating words of a poem never finished, a story never told. Those sensitive enough to feel his presence describe an overwhelming sense of despair, a sorrow so palpable it brings tears to the eyes of the hardened and the skeptical alike. They speak of feeling watched by eyes filled with a longing for release, for the freedom to express the truths that once consumed his life. In cell block 12, where his earthly remains were discovered, the air is often punctuated by the sound of writing, the ghostly echo of pen on paper, a reminder of the inmate's undying need to communicate. Some visitors leave notes, questions penned on scraps of paper, and return to find them moved, or the ink smudged, as though touched by an unseen hand. The story of the lonely inmate is a poignant reminder of the power of the human spirit, of its ability to endure beyond the confines of the physical world. His presence in Eastern State Penitentiary serves as a testament to the indomitable will to be heard, to leave a mark on a world that sought to erase his existence. As we journey through the haunted halls of Eastern State, we carry with us the stories of those who came before. Their voices echoing in the silence, their tales woven into the fabric of the penitentiary's shadowed past. The lonely inmate, with his intense emotional energy and disturbances, stands as a beacon, guiding us through the darkness, reminding us that some stories, some spirits, refuse to be forgotten. Join us as we continue to explore the depths of Eastern State's haunted legacy, where every shadow has a story, and a past is always present. In the shadow-laden corridors of Eastern State Penitentiary, where history whispers from the crumbling walls, Chapter 5, Voices from Beyond, beckons us deeper into the mystery. This chapter unveils the chilling evidence gathered by those who seek to understand the unseen, the paranormal investigators who have ventured into the penitentiary's embrace, armed with technology and a quest for truth. Their findings, a collection of EVP recordings and ghostly figures captured on film, serve as a bridge between our world and the one that flickers at the edge of perception. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVP, recordings within Eastern State have yielded results that are as intriguing as they are unsettling. Investigators, in the dead of night, have captured voices on their recorders, voices that could not exist in the abandoned expanse of the prison. These recordings often reveal snippets of conversation, pleas for help, or angry outbursts, all in the absence of any living person. One such recording, captured in the icy air of cellblock 4, contains a voice that seems to say, "I'm not alone," a statement that sends shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned investigator. In another instance, an EVP session in the solitary confinement cells of cell block 6 yielded a voice that whispered, "Let me out," repeated over and over, the desperation palpable in the tone. These voices, disembodied and desperate, paint a haunting picture of the souls that linger within the prison walls, their desires and regrets deadening them to the physical world. The evidence, however, is not limited to auditory phenomena. Paranormal investigations have also captured ghostly figures on film, images that defy logical explanation. In one chilling photograph taken in a prison's chapel, a translucent figure can be seen sitting in one of the pews, head bowed as if in prayer. The figure, which appears to be wearing period-appropriate prison garb, was not visible to the naked eye when the photo was taken, appearing only upon review of the footage. Another investigation team, using infrared cameras in the infirmary, captured the image of a figure standing by one of the beds. The figure, which appeared to be radiating a cold spot detectable by the camera, seemed to be tending to an unseen patient, the movements deliberate and caring. These images, when shown to former guards and inmates who are still living, often evoke recognition, a chilling affirmation of the identities of these spectral inhabitants. Perhaps the most compelling visual evidence comes from the guard towers, Video footage captured during a nocturnal investigation shows what appears to be a shadowy figure moving across the tower windows, pausing as if surveying the grounds. This figure, too elusive to be human, yet too distinct to be dismissed as a trick of the light, adds to the growing dossier of evidence that suggests Eastern State Penitentiary is a hotspot of paranormal activity. The documented evidence from these paranormal investigations offers a glimpse into a world that exists in the shadows, a world that science is only beginning to understand. The EVP recordings and ghostly figures captured on film at Eastern State Penitentiary serve as a testament to the enduring presence of its former inhabitants. Their voices and visages, a bridge between the past and the present, the seen and the unseen. As we delve further into the mysteries of Eastern State, we are reminded that some stories refuse to be confined by the walls of death and decay. The evidence gathered by paranormal investigators challenges us to open our minds, to consider the possibility that there is much more to our existence than meets the eye. Join us as we continue to explore the haunting legacy of Eastern State Penitentiary, where every shadow may hide a secret, and every voice from beyond whispers of truths yet to be fully understood. Beneath the looming watchtowers of Eastern State Penitentiary, where time itself seems to stand still, the air is charged with an energy that defies explanation. Chapter 6, The Cellblock of Shadows, ventures into the heart of the prison's most haunted areas, the epicenters of paranormal activity, where the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. These corridors and cells, steeped in history and horror, invite us to peer into the darkness and confront the mysteries that dwell within. Cell Block 12, the Echoing Halls. Known as one of the most active paranormal sites within Eastern State, Cell Block 12 is infamous for its disembodied laughter. Visitors and investigators alike report hearing eerie chuckles and guffaws that seem to emanate from the empty air, a chilling reminder of the madness and despair that once permeated these walls. The laughter, often heard echoing down the long, narrow corridor, has no identifiable source, creating an atmosphere of unease that lingers long after the sound fades. Cell Block 4, a Visions of Shadows. Cell Block 4 is a place where the shadows themselves seem to move of their own accord. Here, the ghostly figure of a guard has been seen patrolling the tower, his form dissolving into mist when approached. In addition, visitors have reported seeing faces appearing suddenly on the walls, only to vanish as quickly as they came. These visual apparitions, unbound by the laws of physics, challenge our understanding of reality, leaving more questions than answers. The Death Row, a corridor of despair. The area housing death row and the solitary confinement cells is saturated with a heavy, oppressive atmosphere that can overwhelm the most stoic of hearts. The air here is thick with the presence of those who spent their final days in anguished contemplation of their fate. Unexplained cold spots, sudden emotional shifts, and a feeling of being watched are common experiences. Some have even reported the sensation of unseen hands grasping at their clothes, a desperate plea from the spirits that linger. The Central Guard Tower. The Watchful Eye. The Central Guard Tower, overlooking the sprawling complex of Eastern State, is a site of frequent spectral sightings. The silhouette of a lone watcher has been observed in the tower's windows, an apparition that keeps vigil over the prison grounds. This spectral guard, some speculate, may be the warden himself, forever bound to his post, ensuring the security of a prison long devoid of living inmates. The infirmary, echoes of suffering. Within the walls of the infirmary, the pain and suffering of the past are almost palpable. Phantom smells of antiseptic and the sound of moaning have been reported, manifestations of the countless inmates who endured illness and injury within its confines. The ghost of a doctor, seen moving hurriedly through the rooms, continues his rounds, attending to patients that time has forgotten. These areas within Eastern State Penitentiary are but a few of the epicenters of paranormal activity, each with its own stories and spirits. The intense concentration of unexplained phenomena within these cell blocks and spaces speaks to the profound impact that emotion, trauma, and death have had on the fabric of the prison. It is as if the stone and iron themselves have absorbed the essence of those who lived and died here, replaying their final moments in an endless loop. As we explore these cell blocks of shadows, we are reminded that history is not always in the past. Sometimes it lingers, reaching out to us through the veil of time, urging us to remember, to understand, to feel. The most haunted areas of Eastern State Penitentiary stand as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a power that not even death can quell. Join us as we continue our journey through the darkened halls of Eastern State, where each corner holds a new mystery, and every shadow tells a story. The cell block of shadows beckons, inviting us to uncover the secrets that lie within, to confront the ghosts of the past, and to ponder the enigmas that await in the heart of the penitentiary. In the shadowy embrace of Eastern State Penitentiary, where history bleeds into the present, the boundaries of the natural world seem to blur. Chapter 7 of the Lockdown Phenomenon delves into the heart of the prison's most unnerving mysteries, occurrences that defy explanation, where the inanimate becomes animate, and the laws of physics bow to the will of unseen forces. This chapter explores the eerie phenomena of locks moving by themselves, doors slamming shut with no apparent cause, and shadows that move in defiance of light. The unseen jailer. Within the cold, stone walls of Eastern State, the sound of locks clicking and clanking in the absence of human hands is a common yet unexplainable occurrence. Bards and visitors alike have reported hearing the distinct sound of cell locks engaging and disengaging, as if an unseen jailer were making his rounds, securing the prison long after its last inmate has gone. These locks, wristed by time and disuse, should not move so easily, yet they do, as if compelled by an invisible force determined to remind us of the penitentiary's oppressive past. Doors that slam in silence. The phenomenon of doors slamming shut with violent force, when no draft exists and no living soul is near, adds to the prison's atmosphere of suspense and dread. In the solitary confines of cellblock 7, where the air is thick with the weight of isolation, doors have been known to close suddenly, trapping visitors in the darkness, their hearts bounding as they confront the reality of the unseen. This phenomenon, both startling and bewildering, suggests the presence of something or someone beyond our understanding, manipulating the physical world in a display of spectral strength. Shadows against the grain. Perhaps the most chilling of the phenomena are the shadows that move against the laws of physics, defying the logic of light and space. Witnesses have described seeing shadows elongate and retreat in the absence of any light source, moving independently as if possessed of their own will. These shadowy figures, sometimes human in shape, seem to glide along the walls and floors, merging with the darkness, only to emerge elsewhere, as if playing a macabre game of hide and seek with the living. In the daylight, the prison's architecture could be blamed for playing tricks on the eyes. But these occurrences persist in the dead of night, under the watchful eye of infrared cameras and the scrutiny of seasoned investigators. The phenomenon challenges our understanding of the natural world, suggesting that within the confines of Eastern State, something exists beyond the realm of the known. A world unseen. The lockdown phenomenon within Eastern State Penitentiary, locks moving, doors slamming, and shadows dancing of their own accord, paints a picture of a place not entirely anchored in our reality. These occurrences, documented by both skeptics and believers, hint at the existence of a world unseen, a dimension where the spirits of the past exert influence over the physical realm. As we explore these mysterious happenings, we are compelled to question what we know about the world around us. The lockdown phenomenon challenges us to open our minds to the possibility of energies and entities that exist beyond the boundaries of science and reason. Eastern State, with its rich history of suffering and redemption, stands as a testament to the power of the unseen, a place where the past refuses to be locked away, and the shadows tell their own stories. Join us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Eastern State Penitentiary, where every locked door, every sudden noise, every shifting shadow invites us to look deeper, to listen closer, and to consider the possibility that we are not alone. The lockdown phenomenon beckons, a reminder that in this place, the walls do not just hold memories, they hold secrets, waiting to be revealed. Amidst the eerie silence and a palpable weight of history that hangs over Eastern State Penitentiary, there lies a phenomenon that both captivates and terrifies those who dare to explore its depths. Chapter 8. The ghostly sentinel ventures into the ethereal realm of the prison's most enigmatic and elusive presence. A spectral figure seen standing guard on the prison towers, a phantom watcher whose appearance raises more questions than it answers. The watcher on the walls. High above the ground, on the crumbling ramparts of Eastern State, there stands a figure shrouded in the mists of time, described by witnesses as a guard, clad in the uniform of days long past. He watches over the abandoned corridors and empty cells with an unwavering gaze. His presence is most often reported in the twilight hours, when the setting sun casts long shadows across the prison yard, and the boundary between day and night blurs into obscurity. Those who have seen him describe a feeling of being observed, a sense that the spectral sentinel is not just looking out over the prison, but also watching over those who walk its haunted halls. His figure, though ethereal, carries an air of authority, a reminder of the strict order that once governed the lives of those within these walls. Vanishing upon approach. The most chilling aspect of encounters with the ghostly sentinel is his tendency to disappear when approached. Curious souls drawn to the tower by the sight of the figure find that, as they draw near, the air grows inexplicably cold, and a feeling of unease settles over them. With each step closer, the figure becomes more indistinct, until, at last, he fades away entirely, leaving no trace of his presence save for the lingering chill in the air, and the unsettling feeling that one has just brushed against the unknown. This vanishing act has been experienced by many, from seasoned paranormal investigators to skeptical first-time visitors. The phenomenon defies logical explanation, fueling speculation and intrigue about the identity of the sentinel and the nature of his eternal vigil. A guardian of secrets. Theories abound as to who this spectral figure might be. Some believe he is the spirit of a guard who, in life, took his duties so seriously that he continues them in death, bound to the prison by a sense of duty that transcends the grave. Others speculate that he might be a former warden, or even an inmate, somehow elevated in death to the role of watcher, guarding the secrets and stories that Eastern State holds within its decaying embrace. Regardless of his true identity, The ghostly sentinel stands as a symbol of the prison's enduring legacy, a guardian of the past, watching over a place where time stands still and history whispers from the shadows. His presence is a poignant reminder of the thin veil that separates the world of the living from that of the dead, and of the mysteries that lie waiting in the liminal spaces where they intersect. A call to the curious. The accounts of the spectral figure on the prison towers invite us to ponder the mysteries of Eastern State Penitentiary, and to explore the depths of our own curiosity about the afterlife and the unseen forces that shape our world. The ghostly sentinel, disappearing when approached, challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question what we know, and to seek out the stories that hover just beyond your reach. As we continue our journey through the haunted heart of Eastern State, we carry with us the image of the sentinel, a beacon in the darkness, guiding us through the mysteries of the past and into the shadows of the unknown. Join us as we venture further into the realm of the unseen, where every corner holds a secret, and every ghostly encounter opens a door to the mysteries that lie beyond. As the shadows lengthen and the air within Eastern State Penitentiary grows heavy with the weight of untold stories, Chapter 9, The Keeper's Experiences, draws us into the personal encounters and chilling narratives shared by those who know the prison best, its staff and visitors. Each tale, a thread woven into the fabric of the penitentiary's haunted legacy, offers a glimpse into the encounters that bridge the gap between our world and the one that whispers from the shadows. The Whispering Walls. A staff member, tasked with the closing rounds at dusk, recounts the unsettling experience of hearing whispers emanating from the walls of cellblock 3. The voices, low and indistinct, seemed to plead for attention, drawing him deeper into the cell block. With each step, the whispers grew louder, yet no source could be found. It was as if the very walls themselves were alive with the echoes of the past, desperately seeking someone to hear their silent screams. The Vanishing Visitor. A visitor, intrigued by the history of the solitary confinement cells, ventured into the depths of cell block 9, only to encounter a figure standing at the far end of the corridor, dressed in the tattered remnants of a prison uniform. The figure stared back at her with hollow eyes, a silent sentinel from another era. As she reached for her camera, the figure vanished before her eyes, leaving behind a cold spot in the air and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. The Guard's Dilemma. One night, a guard reported seeing a shadowy figure pacing the perimeter of the yard, a routine check revealing no one there. Intrigued and unsettled, he monitored the area via security cameras, only to witness the figure reappear, walking the same path before disappearing once again. This phantom patrol, observed on multiple occasions, became a source of both fascination and fear, a nightly reminder of the unseen inhabitants of the prison. The touch of the past. In the infirmary, a volunteer experienced a sensation so vivid it left her questioning reality. As she organized artifacts, she felt a hand gently rest upon her shoulder, a comforting presence in the solitude of her task. Turning to acknowledge her colleague, she found herself alone, the room silent save for the beating of her own heart. This encounter, brief yet profound, offered a tangible connection to the unseen forces that linger within the penitentiary's walls. The cellblock shadow. A photographer, seeking to capture the eerie beauty of the penitentiary at night, set up his equipment in cellblock 5. As he focused his lens, a shadow darted across his viewfinder, too quick to be human, yet too defiant to be dismissed as a trick of the light. The subsequent photo revealed a murky figure, its outline unmistakably human, a permanent resident captured in a moment of time. These stories, shared by those who walk the corridors of Eastern State Penitentiary, paint a vivid picture of a place where the past refuses to be confined by the boundaries of time and space. The experiences of staff and visitors alike serve as a testament to the enduring presence of the spirits that inhabit the prison, each encounter a personal narrative that adds depth and dimension to the haunting legacy of Eastern State. As we draw closer to the end of our journey through the haunted heart of Eastern State Penitentiary, we are reminded that every shadow has a story, every whisper a voice from the past, calling out to be heard. The Keeper's experiences invite us to listen, to explore, and to believe in the possibility that within these walls, history lives, breathes, and reaches out to those who dare to venture into the darkness. Join us as we continue to uncover the mysteries and the memories that linger in the air, where every encounter is a bridge to the unseen, and every story is a key to the past. As our journey through the echoing halls and shadowy corners of Eastern State Penitentiary draws to a close, Chapter 10, Embracing the Haunted Legacy, reflects on the transformation of this once formidable institution into a nexus of paranormal intrigue and historical fascination. Over the years, the legend of the haunted prison has not only endured, but flourished, weaving the penitentiary into the fabric of the supernatural lore that captivates the imagination of ghost hunters and the public alike. A beacon for the paranormal, Eastern State Penitentiary has transcended its origins as a place of punishment and reform, to become one of the most iconic haunted sites in America. The tales of spectral inmates, ghostly guards, and unexplained phenomena have turned its decaying cell blocks and crumbling corridors into hallowed ground for those who seek to connect with the other side. Paranormal investigators, armed with an arsenal of technology and an insatiable curiosity about the afterlife, flock to the prison in hopes of capturing evidence of the supernatural, each visit adding a new layer to its haunted reputation. The public's fascination. The allure of Eastern State extends beyond the paranormal community, drawing in visitors from around the globe. The prison's annual Halloween celebrations, which include tours of its most haunted areas and theatrical renditions of its darkest tales, have become a tradition for thrill seekers and history buffs alike. These events not only celebrate the penitentiary's ghostly inhabitants, but also serve to educate the public about its historical significance, bridging the gap between past and present, fact and folklore. A legacy preserved. The embracement of Eastern State's haunted legacy has played a pivotal role in the preservation of the site. Interest in the paranormal has spurred efforts to maintain the prison as a historical landmark, ensuring that its stories and spirits remain accessible to future generations. This symbiotic relationship between the penitentiary and its spectral lore has transformed the site into a living museum, a place where history is palpable and the echoes of the past resonate with every step. A reflection on our fascination with the haunted. The enduring fascination with Eastern State Penitentiary's haunted legacy invites reflection on our collective desire to explore the unknown. It speaks to a universal curiosity about what lies beyond the veil of death, and a longing to connect with the past in the most visceral way possible. The prison's transformation into a site of supernatural interest reflects our ongoing quest to understand the mysteries of the afterlife and our place within the larger tapestry of existence. The future of the haunted penitentiary. As we conclude our exploration of Eastern State Penitentiary, we are left to ponder the future of its haunted legacy. The stories that have emerged from its depths will undoubtedly continue to evolve, each telling and retelling, adding new dimensions to the lore that surrounds the prison. For ghost hunters, historians, and the simply curious, Eastern State will remain a beacon of mystery, a place where the past lingers just out of sight, and the shadows whisper tales of a world unseen. In embracing its haunted legacy, Eastern State Penitentiary has become more than just a monument to historical penal reform. It has become a gateway to the unknown, a place where the veil between this world and the next seems thinner, and the stories of those who once inhabited its cells continue to captivate and chill us to the core. As we step out of the shadows of Eastern State, we carry with us the tales of its ghosts, a reminder of the enduring power of the past to speak to us in the present. As the final echoes of our journey through Eastern State Penitentiary fade into the stillness of the night, we close this chapter of our exploration into the unknown, a tale woven from the shadows and whispers of one of America's most haunted sites. Through the stories of spectral inmates, the mysteries of unexplained phenomena, and the reflections on the afterlife that these tales inspire, we ventured together into the heart of darkness and emerged with a deeper understanding of the thin veil that separates our world from the one that lies just beyond our sight. But remember, the end of this story is not the end of our curiosity, nor is it the final word on the mysteries that haunt the corridors of Eastern State. Instead, consider it an invitation to explore the unknown corners of your world, to listen for the whispers of history in the quiet moments, and to keep your mind open to the possibilities that lie just beyond the edge of understanding. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows. May the stories we've shared ignite a spark of curiosity within you, a beacon that lights your way into the mysteries that await. Until we meet again, keep your eyes open, your lanterns lit, and your spirit adventurous. For in the quest to uncover the secrets of the haunted and the hidden, the next chapter is always waiting to be written. Good night, dear listeners, and remember, the past is never as far away as we think, and the stories of the spirits that linger remind us that we are all, in some way, keepers of the echoes of history. Farewell for now, from the haunted halls of Eastern State Penitentiary.